welcome to About You. I'm Ellen Rogers. Well, the objective of About You has always been to highlight the spectacular actions of women in our community, from careers, travels, new business, and organizations that help our community. We've used this platform to highlight the skills and talents of women. After 15 years of hosting this program, I am turning off my microphone. I wanted to use this last program to shine the spotlight on two women that are responsible for this program, past and its future. With us today is Betsy LeBeau. She's the founder of the program, and co-host Connie Hogan, who will continue the program. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is so bittersweet sweet for me. I get to see both of you.
I know.
But then I'm saying goodbye, too.
Yes. And you're so humble, because the show really was a lot of your effort and support from the beginning.
But it all started with you. And so I wanted to tell our viewers how it really all started when the station, the cable station, started.
Right.
So fill us in on that.
Well, the cable station, I am not sure the date that it started, but I was involved with the community house and did a show with another person that was a host, and I loved the show, and I thought, you know, this is a great opportunity to really kind of highlight other people in the community. I started thinking of all the women that I knew because I was involved with Junior League, and I thought, you know, there's like the eccentric, there are other like things that are other magazines that promote women, but there was nothing visually on TV that did that. And I thought, well, maybe, you know, they would be interested. So I approached them.
And I think that's how that process still continues, that
Right.
people from our community can come and pitch a show, right? And you know, fill out a little prospectus, and then fill out a form, which is great.
Yeah.
Because it really gets people from the community, all different interests.
Yeah.
So that was the same process, right? You just you pitched it.
Yes, I
right?
pitched it, wrote everything out, and then I waited to hear back from the board, because they have a board of directors that kind of sifts through the shows that are, you know, the new ones. And then I heard back maybe a few months later, and I did have a background in journalism, so I did, you know, I majored in telecommunications, which I think you did too. And so I wanted to use those skills because I wasn't using them, you know, in the workforce. So when I approached them, I was delighted to see that I think it was the same camera kind of thing that we did in college, and you know, and then I just invited people that I knew that had a really strong voices in the community. People that were not only volunteers, but ran businesses. And I mean, then we kept finding more and more people like in the crevices.
Yeah. Well, Betsy, how did you come up with the concept of it? Why go with a talk show with guests? How did you think of that? Or was it mimiccing anything?
No, it really wasn't mimiccing anything. I just felt like I knew so many really interesting women, and I just thought they needed a voice to be heard. I mean, and they needed a platform to be able to speak and talk about themselves. I know that they do a lot of journalistic articles in like the Downtown Magazine, the Eccentric, and you know, Our magazine does it too. But they didn't have anything on TV at that time or on cable. So
in the beginning years, was it hard to get women to come on the program?
You know, it wasn't. Yes, it wasn't hard to get women, but you know, I think, you know, at the time people were very interested to see what Bloomfield Cable TV was all about. So people were very interested to come on the show and to see and to kind of express what they were doing. But after a while, yeah, you kind of were like, okay, you know, who else should I ask? And then sometimes people would back out, and then you needed a last-minute person, and you know how that is.
Right,
so,
right.
But I don't think we ever really went dry totally.
No. Yeah, we've always had backup people. Well, as you said, we're all journalists. Connie, I want to include you too.
Yeah.
That we all have a journalist background. Connie, you worked at GM for many years.
I was actually it's a long story, and I want to keep this brief because
No,
I'm thinking about it because it's a long story. I was recruited from Notre Dame, and I was in finance. So I actually started in finance, and then I fairly quickly transitioned into the lobbying arena. And I worked with Debbie Dingle, we developed from Detroit, and we were in Washington as well, but we developed policy positions, and I was in the environmental, fuel economy, clean air and stuff. So we would highlight GM technology, and also we worked with Ford and Chrysler, and we would bring in a bipartisan group of senators and congressmen, and Debbie, knew everybody.
Yeah.
And we would take them to our facilities. That's how I knew you. See, this is kind of tying in. It does tie in because she was kind of the news person for General Motors Communications. And so I remember the one event where we had, I think it was like 25 senators and Congress people, and we brought them to our Hamtramck plant. And Chrysler had, I forget where Chrysler went, but Ford and Dearborn, and then we had the Hamtramck plant. And I was running around like crazy, and you were filming it.
Yeah, I was covering it for
you were
covering it
television.
So that was
program.
our
I did
little thing, and those were such fun times. Oh,
Yeah.
those were the good days in GM.
Yeah, right.
Well, and you and I we lived in the same community in Birmingham, and then I remember you from Beverly Hills Racket Club.
Yes.
Playing tennis there and doing exercise classes.
And then I think my son and your daughter Madison are the same age.
Yeah.
So we did Gymboree or something. We did children activities. But and then I definitely, I thought, she would be a great person to have on the show. And you were on the show probably within the first year or two.
Right.
And
I was on the show you asked me, I was on the show twice
I think you were.
in the first year because I had done the 3-day walk and then I chaired Cranbrook Holiday Tables.
That's
and then you said, well, why don't you just be on the program? And I'm like, wait, how if I just produce for you? And then we had the co-host. We went back to being a co-host.
Yes.
How do you think that format helped propel the program, having two people?
I think it was definitely a stronger, image when you have two people, especially the fact that we were able to get different people on the show. You and I both know different people, and I think it made it stronger. Plus, I think just having two people asking questions, you get a variety of information from people that you maybe, and I would direct toward one thing and you would kind of hit from another angle, which is the same thing that you do too. And I think, and I liked it. It was more fun. It's just more fun to
kind of took the pressure off each person too, right?
And you were very good at it. I mean, you had the background in journalism, and you were very good at. We have a different style, but you were very good. So it's good to have the kind of the teamwork.
I think what's great about the program, and that we have a similar background.
Yes.
But we've all done this not as our primary job.
I know, right?
This is truly community service, and it's our way of giving back and highlighting, of our time and highlighting women in our community. Do you remember like a certain guest, or did you like a certain like going after? I know we did a lot of decorators, a lot of designers that were great.
Yeah, I mean, we covered a lot of community leaders. We had people from Lighthouse and Junior League, and we had people from the community house. And I do remember we had a Jewish woman on that had been through the Holocaust. Do you remember that?
I sure do. Yeah.
And that I thought was we did a series.
Yeah, we did a series. And I had my after that was interesting that you mentioned it because we took her out to. I just had to have my kids meet her because when are they?
She
ever
was a very interesting woman.
And so we took her out to dinner. And I had my her
wow.
tell my kids and walk through her pictures
that
in a
was
book.
amazing.
It was good memory. Good memory.
Yeah. And I mean, we had Kate Strombos on talking about her husband's business with the motorcycles. We had the bullying session. Remember we did that with the series? I remember bullying.
That's still very relevant. Good idea for next time.
Yeah, and then we had a lot of runners. Like we had different organizations that ran. We had two different ones from that. Yeah.
Good memory. It's been a long time. And Connie, now you really bring a different perspective too, because you have the business, the more business from Detroit from your past, but also you have really some connections to a number of charitable organizations that deal with animals.
Well, I didn't get to that. Yes, animals as well as yes. Well, after we were in the lobbying area, then Debbie became president, General Motors Foundation, and I was with her on that.
Okay.
So that's how I knew everybody in the philanthropic world. And I was with GM Foundation actually for 10 years.
Okay.
And that was kind of my main thing. But it's an interesting field. The philanthropic world, we won't get into all of it, but it's really an interesting field. It's actually in some ways more difficult than the actual lobbying world and developing policy because so much of it is about the networking and making things happen, as we know. one of my things was, and I love animals. Animals
Yeah.
are my life.
Yeah.
And
What animals are your life? Which are the favorite?
My favorite animal is cats. I mean, how
Okay.
could cats rule the internet? My goodness, come on.
Yeah, yeah.
And
They're funny.
cats are, and dogs. I mean, any animal really. But I was on the board for 2 terms of Michigan Humane Society,
Okay.
and I'm still involved in the Bow Wow Brunch Committee as well
Oh,
as
yeah.
Michigan Animal Rescue League, which is really coming along. It's in Pontiac.
Okay, I know about
And they've
that.
been on the show. Both of those have been on the show a few
Yeah,
times as
right,
representatives,
right.
of course. And we have 2 big events coming up for both of those. And that's what I bring. That's the main thing I bring. But to answer the next question is like, there's just so many great organizations as well as hot button issues that I would like to, continue
button,
to
yeah,
explore.
right,
Is what
yeah.
I would say, yeah.
And we'll feed you guests.
You betcha. I got 2.
Connie, let's go back a little bit, and you've been doing the program for 6 years. What was your reaction when I asked you?
Well, as you know, she and I, another common denominator with the 2 of us was we were working for a magazine in Bloomfield Hills Living, and that was kind of coming to an end, as these do, and it kind of helped me to give back, by doing this after doing that. That was a lot of fun, though. But this is probably more fun.
Well,
But-
in that, just for a guess, in that magazine, you were doing spotlights on
yes.
community members, couples, and
Oh, so it was the same kind of
yeah,
thing.
I went
same
to
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's in form of writing versus reporting.
Like, this is going to be easy.
And
We
I've
already do it.
What
actually,
magazine was it?
Bloomfield Hills Living, but a lot of the
Okay,
people
okay.
I have since brought on were the people that I had written about.
Yeah,
You could just
good.
go down the list probably, and I'll continue to do that. But that's kind of
makes
how
sense,
that
yeah.
gave me an opportunity to give back without, I'm retired from GM, so it's kind of like a wonderful venue, but not too much, in times of
And you can use your abilities.
yeah, and it's great. And then there's just kind of unlimited, potential, I guess. And also to provide resources to women. That's should be the main thing, I guess. There's so many women, regardless of where they live or whatever, they're going to listen to it and then find out about the commission meetings or the various things that I know it's helpful to me. So.
No, that's
so,
true.
Betsy, you did it for a number of years on your own. You and I did it together.
Yes.
And I remember the day that you said you were leaving. And I went,
Yeah.
oh my word. Tell our viewers about that transition. That was such a great time in your life.
You mean going to Brazil?
Brazil,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I remember that was 2015. Seems like yesterday, but it was almost 7 years ago. And my husband was asked to go with, it was Fiat Chrysler then, now it's Stellantis, to Brazil. And so we had to, make a decision, were we going to do that? Our kids were at good ages. My parents were, they're still living, but they were fine. There's kind of like those years where you can do those things, and my kids weren't married and have children, and so that was easier to make a decision. And so we decided to go, and it was a great experience. We were there for 3 years and really enjoyed the culture in Brazil, enjoyed the people. My husband loved his job, and we traveled quite a bit, throughout South America, and I think
And the kids came to visit quite a lot?
They came to visit a lot. We got to go to the Amazon and Patagonia and just all the fun spots. And they loved it. My son especially loved it,
Okay, and then she comes back. And I'm like, great, you're going to come back on the show. And this true and Betsy LeBeau fashion, you're like, I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something else.
Yes.
So tell our viewers about what you're doing now.
Yes, well, I actually started to think about something that means a lot to me, and that's my faith. And I'm doing a similar thing. It's called Sparkle. And what we do is we inspire and encourage and connect women in Christ. But it's non-denominational, and it's just really just Bible-based, but it's not really Bible-based because these women they're believers, but they tell their stories from all different facets of life. So we just interviewed somebody from Poland, and we do it on Zoom. We have people, just, normal women that are, some of them have big jobs, some of them don't, but just it gives them a platform to be able to talk about stories.
Is that on this show or? I mean, that's Bloomfield.
No, I mean,
Bloomfield.
that could be something I could,
Yeah,
I could do on the network. But no, I do it on Zoom, and we put it out on
okay.
YouTube,
I
and
got
then
it.
we have
Oh,
a
okay.
woman, we do have a woman, Catherine Clavio, who does the podcasts too. So we do podcasts as well, and she has
okay, got it.
so it's been fun. We do events, and we do Zoom, and we do podcasts.
And how did you come up with that idea?
Well, just thinking about the fact that there's some great women out there that need a platform. I think women need a platform. A lot of women are very quiet and they have a lot to say, and you just hate for people to live and die and not tell their story.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so many fascinating stories.
I know.
Too.
And then if you have it in print or you have it on video, you can. Their children and grandchildren can see it. It can inspire people forever.
It can live on. Yes.
Yeah, and your stuff is going to live on forever and ever. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yikes.
I was going to say,
Yeah,
we've been doing it for 15 years, and I thought, oh, we could do a little retrospective, and I'm like, no, you've seen me age for the last 15 years, too. But okay, so
You still look
is Sparkle open to anyone that wants to get
Yes,
involved?
anybody.
Okay, so how would
Anybody.
someone get connected?
Well, our website is www.sparklefaith.com. So, and I put the events on there, and and people do. I put you on an email list, and then we send out email on the different things that are going on. But the podcast is Sparkle Speak on Spotify.
And that mimics what
It does
the
mimic a
event.
lot. We have some of the same people. We do a lot of crossover. She's like 30, so she's really cute, and she can do, she talks.
And she's doing a podcast.
Yeah, she's
so
doing a
she-
podcast. She doesn't do videos like
Right.
old school. But yeah, she's very good. And she did another one before that, but she has another job, but she's trying to turn this into her full-time job. I think she has 2 little kids, so.
Well, I would say too. I've attended a couple of the events and listened. So it's not. You can participate.
Yes.
It's not a membership. It's not like your book club. If you don't show up, people are going to get mad. It's really when it's convenient for you, you can pop in and out of it.
Exactly. Yeah, you can pop in and out to any event you want to go to. And we also have a retreat a couple of times a year at Stonebridge Farms, which is out of Metamora. So, yeah.
And
But
how many people in your group, and who does it attract?
Well, I send out about 150 or so email, but then people send it out after that, because they know people, like if you've got people in Georgia, North Carolina. Now that we've done Zoom and it's, COVID hit, we have people in California, North Carolina, I guess South Carolina, Georgia, and then even overseas. And the podcast is reaching people overseas because you can see it.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure.
so I mean, it's
amazing,
Just,
isn't
we don't have any limits anymore.
It's amazing how quickly the technology changed over these years, and now you can do
I think it fast-forwarded
this.
about 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Connie, what do you hope to accomplish by continuing the program?
Well, just even listening to this, it's like you say, women need the
Yeah.
platform, really providing the resources as well as, I guess, I know we don't get into political stuff.
Right.
Because we're Bloomfield Township, I understand
Right.
that. But like to have, let's say I had 2 people in a chair and they're giving different perspectives on the issue, like a balanced, perspective. I think we need that in our whole world now because both sides need to be represented regardless.
Yes.
And
right.
that would be a great, I don't have to, but that would be a great thing, I think. And I know so
To
many
hear
people.
both sides of stories.
Yeah, it might take more than 30 minutes to get some of them
Yeah.
in here, but it would be interesting, I think, to do it that way. A little bit more spicy,
Yeah,
probably.
a little bit more spicy. Definitely.
Let's give a little credit to the Bloomfield Township
Yes.
cable
Yes.
station.
Exactly.
Yes.
How important role do you think that plays within our community?
Oh, I think it's a big pulse point. I really do. I think it's been a great thing because it offers many different programming opportunities for people. I mean, I was thinking of all the shows that have been on in the past, and it hits all different age groups, all different ethnic groups, and has the religion part of it too, and the fact that they are very open and pretty balanced, I think. And I do think people watch it. I mean, because people will come and say hi, I see your show, and I had a police officer walk up to me who was giving me a ticket for my car, and he goes, oh my gosh. He goes, you used to do the cable TV show. He goes, I'm not going to give you a ticket.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, you don't know. That was from way back then. So I just know that people watch it, and it's interesting because you don't think they do, but people do watch the local cable TV.
And now that it's on, I always watch everything online.
Connie, what do you think? What
Well, I
role
watch
do you
it
think
online.
Yes,
I never.
that's
I don't
true.
think I've ever even seen it on the regular show
Maybe
because
not
I
as
watch
much
it.
anymore. You don't do that. You
don't.
pull it up.
I pull it up, and I'll watch it as soon as they
If
put
you
it out
follow you.
there.
Yeah.
Follow me, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll put it on Facebook, and there's so many opportunities.
do put it on
yeah.
Facebook.
They
Okay.
have it
Do you do
very
that?
easy.
Yeah, I
Yes.
do that. Yeah, I get most people.
Yeah.
Most of our
Okay.
viewership
Yeah.
is on.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
it's very easy to
amazing.
just link it.
Yeah, we never
and
used to
stuff.
do that.
Yeah.
There wasn't Facebook, right?
There was Facebook.
So yeah,
I mean,
so
it was in-
there's you can reach so many people
Yes.
and cover so many
Yeah,
things.
you're right.
And a lot of times people will come to me and say, I want to be on the show. So
So I do think the
Wonderful.
key is that the township has, and always includes in the budget, the cable
shows.
television programming, which is a great dedication to the community to
Yes.
have residents voice their interests and their concerns
Absolutely.
through programming like this. Do you have a communications, we all have backgrounds in communication, do you have a mantra that you go by, or that in doing the program, like, or a process in doing the program, an objective?
Again, it's to, to fulfill that role, I think, for this show of highlighting women in the community. It could be other things. It could be with my animals. It could be with, just, again, the political arena that we're in. That, to have something out there that is going to kind of stand the test of time, I guess, because they do,
And how about for you, Betsy?
I was just thinking, that's a good question. I think listening to people, just really listening, because I think everybody has a story to tell.
Right.
And just loving people for who they are, because, everybody, there's so many different facets of people. And I think the more I listen, the more I start appreciating people that I thought I never would appreciate. Do you feel that way? And you're like, wow. I never thought I would like that person, but I do like that person.
And I think, it's so important. I don't want to harp on this, but it's like because of the, the negativity that we have now in the
Yes, I
world, and I'm
know.
talking Washington or whatever, everything. Finding the different perspectives and the common grounds,
Yes.
is just so, because I have a lot of friends all around, but a lot of my community friends in Detroit, Dearborn, whatever, and we could just fight, but, and I'll just be honest about that.
Yeah.
But then, we go out, we play golf, we have cocktails, and then
Yeah.
we're still good friends, and
Yes.
we respect each
Yes,
other.
that's
the
good.
thing. We respect each other as long as we can say what we feel,
That's good.
and then we respect it and we go our separate ways, even though the positions are very different.
Yes, I think that's good.
That's where our background as journalists really come in, especially for this
Right.
program. A lot of times I have people on that I don't agree with them, but
Yes.
they are worth giving their
Interesting enough.
airtime
Well, you
to.
and I have disagreed about
Right.
a lot of stuff, yeah.
Or
We're still
just,
friends.
That's
just
good,
different
though, in a
of
way.
opinions.
It
And so
is,
to have people on
exactly.
that are opposite, it'd be easy to do the show
Wouldn't it
and
be
just have
nice?
people that agree with you.
Right.
But when you have, I think that propels me to have more people on
Yeah.
that I don't share a common belief.
Right.
But well, you know what? So it's we only have a minute or two left. I wanted to thank you, Betsy, for just having the courage and the intelligence and the community spirit to create the program. Connie, thank you for
You're so
continuing
sweet.
because I
But
think
you were a big part of it.
Yeah,
Ellen.
she's it. I call it the Ellen Show.
I know.
On my list, it's the
I
Ellen
know.
Show.
But
I
it's,
know.
I think what's great as women, we're continuing and we're building on something, and we weren't
Yes.
competing with one another. We really thought about the women in our community. I also really want to thank all the staff here at Cable TV. We worked with
Yes,
Dave for a number of
yes.
years, Greg and
Yeah,
Steve,
and Steve and Greg, yeah.
Joe. I mean, they really are the backbone and foundation of the
Absolutely.
program, and
Fantastic.
they keep us on time, and they keep us scheduled, and
Keep you
we
wired up.
Right,
Yeah.
we couldn't do it with everyone, and it's my 15th year.
And you've
Thank
done an
you.
incredible
Thank
job.
you.
I just
Thank you,
want to
ladies.
say that.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
I wanted to get
Thank
that
you
in
for
there.
having-
Us
Thank you,
on
everybody.
here.
Thanks for being on the show. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the station and for all you guys do for our community. And thank you to our viewers for always tuning in to About You, a place where women always have a story worth sharing. More than 20,000 runners and walkers will tie their laces and head to the starting line next month for the Detroit Marathon. The new Great Lakes Culinary Center in Southfield is so many things, it's difficult to choose which one to start with. Well, 114 million people watched this year's Super Bowl. Can you believe that? I wish we had those type of numbers. Well, how does the school pay for these? That's where school-based booster clubs come in. Apparently, there are quite a number of booster clubs out there. Well, there's something 500 Michigan local kids all have in common. They're all 21st century leaders. We have a heartwarming show today, especially poignant this time of year. Today's guest, Goodwill, isn't just seasonal, but year-round. Well, if you're a pet owner, you've had to experience this, talking to your dog, cat, or bird, it doesn't matter, and asking, what do you want or what's wrong? And you know you've said that out loud. You've probably seen this lady, whether it be in the local magazine, Hour, Styling, or Ambassador, or gracing the aisles at Saks Fifth Avenue. But we all have those types of days that nothing goes right. From the moment we get through our workday, right up to the bump our toes on the frame of the bed before we go to sleep. Knitting as a hobby seems to have made a resurgence of late, gaining the attention of young and old, male and female. The kids are gone, you're an empty nester, and those annoying acquaintances say, "So, are you going back to work?" Well, for Bloomfield area residents, it's been an exciting 2 years, combining two wonderful schools, Andover and Losser, into one, Bloomfield Hills High School. She's one of those people, when you see or hear her name, you know it, but you just can't figure out where. College education has been at the forefront of our thoughts since we heard about the MET program or opened that first 529 savings plan. Well, when I tell people I'm from Detroit, they often respond with, "Oh, I hear it's back." Well, instead of resurging, I tell them, "We've resurged, we're complete, it's done deal." As Birmingham City Planning Director, she has input in the best way to use the city's land and resources. Two local women have found a way to honor their home state, promote local businesses, have fun, create a business, and make a living. Local libraries play a larger role in our community than housing just periodicals. They strengthen communities as centers of education and, more recently, centers of social services. Creativity, it's such a loose term used too readily when you come into contact with people like today's guest. She's a professional creator, moving from being a designer to writer to an author. Alice's Table is a floral company that has a fresh new spin on female empowerment. Welcome, Janan Situ.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. I'm so excited about this.
Me too.
It's a very unusual passion, hobby, but it's really a family tradition. So tell us about how it's other families play tennis or ski. You guys hot air balloon. With us today is a former FBI agent, Julia Dougherty. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me on.
Holy cow, what a fascinating career for anyone, let alone, and additionally for a woman. It's those two houses on Maple, sitting just on the edge of Birmingham. You've driven by them 100 times. And thank you for joining us here at About You, where every woman has a story worth sharing.
That's awesome.
That is
That's
so
awesome.
sweet.